What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? Like I said, we're back. It's great to see everybody. I've missed each and every one of y'all. And Adam's gonna go ahead and join us here in a second. And what's up, Samson? How you doing, baby? Good to see you. Good to see you, bro. So yeah, we're Adam's gonna go ahead and join us here in a second, and we'll go ahead and get back. But before we get started today, I just want to take this time to hope everybody is doing well and staying safe. Wearing your masks, social distancing, and of course staying healthy. And y'all gonna have to excuse the new get up, but I couldn't wait to do the show anymore. We got freaking planes flying by, cars driving by. It's awesome. Bang bang, baby. What's up, Jason? Bang bang. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get into some Niners off season. We're gonna go ahead and just kind of recap the draft a little bit, and all that good stuff. Of course, we'll be talking George Kittle's contract and anything else. Hi, Mama. Miss you, Mama. Everybody say hi to Miss Debbie, of course, my Niner Empire Mama. Hi, Mama. So, just waiting for Adam. Went ahead and sent him his text. He should be here momentarily. We've got a new setup, so y'all gonna have to, y'all gonna have to forgive your boy as we go ahead and try to adjust to the new setup. But as everybody knows, we of course have the draft. The Niners went ahead and selected Javon Kinlaw with our first pick in the first round. Brandon Ayuk with our second pick in the first round. We had no second, we had no third, and we had no fourth. Our fifth round pick, I know I have it down here somewhere. Okay. McKivitz, our sixth round selection. Or no, we didn't have a sixth round selection. Our two seventh round selections were Jennings, and I know I have it down here somewhere. Oh, okay. You know what? I guess I didn't write it down. Normally I have this stuff memorized. But the big news of the offseason for the draft, I'm pretty sure everybody knows our draft picks. The show's off to a wonderful start again. We went ahead and traded Marquise Goodwin and a seventh rounder for Philly's sixth rounder, which we used for Charlie Warner. That was our sixth round pick. There you go. Matt Breida to Miami for a fifth round, 153rd overall, which ended up being Colton McKivitz. We required the 15th. We traded the 15th pick from Denver and a third round in 2021 for Trent Williams. And that, of course, goes along with the retirement of Joe Staley. Just a few highlights of Joe Staley's career. I know I went into this before, but I mean, I think Joe Staley is the definition of forever faithful. And so I think he deserves a rehashing. Joe is 11th all time in games played for the Niners with 181 total games. 5th all time amongst offensive linemen, only behind Len Rhodey, Keith Farnhorst, and Randy Cross. He's on the 10-year wall, a 6-time Pro Bowler, an all-decade team of the 2010s. Started every game he played in for the Niners. Played in 8 full seasons out of his 13 seasons. Only had 115 penalties and was 3 of 3 on catches for 26 yards and 1 touchdown. I think everybody will again join me in giving a round of applause for Joe Staley and a tip of a cap to a well-rounded Niner career. Of course, I have to email the invite to Adam, of course. And why I go ahead and do that? It's a broadcast studio. Hopefully this won't mess us up too bad. It's a broadcast studio. Y'all have to forgive me for this.
Of course. Oh, wow. You can see both of me now. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, man. You're going to have to get an editor. How do I invite guests? Here we go.
Oh, wait. Oh, man. I'm screwed up. I screwed up. Oh, this is so lovely. Oh, man. Ooh-wee. Oh, man. Thank God we ain't a professional, outcast, right? Oh, Lord. We're definitely going to have to change all this. We got big news. For those who follow me on social media, you will now know that we have started our own podcast network, Home Podcasting Network, that will, of course, be available coming shortly. Niner Faithful Radio will, of course, be the Niner Podcast Network. And more details will be announced on that. If you are interested in joining the Home Podcasting Network, go ahead and email me at homepodcastingnetwork@gmail.com, and we will get all the information to you as soon as possible. Did I just send email? So Adam should be joining us shortly. There we go. The man of the hour, the Robin to my Batman. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Adam P. for 49ers Insiders. How you doing, Adam?
Doing fantastic. Had to dust off the cobwebs a little bit off of here, and I got it going. I literally, because you sent me the link on my mobile phone, so I literally just transferred it straight to my laptop and figured it out myself. So doing good. Hey, thank you for having me.
Of course, brother. Like I told everybody at the beginning of the stream, hey, look, we got a new setup going on. We're trying to figure this out as we go along. Y'all, of course, will have to just stay patient with us. I already, of course, gave them the announcement of course, hope everybody's safe, doing your social distancing, wearing your masks, of all that. We, of course, pray for everybody's health and safety. These are crazy times that we were living in. Glad to see everybody's here with us. Just went ahead and gave a short recap of the season. Where are you standing here of August 11th of 2020? How are you feeling about the red and gold?
I mean, shoot, at this point, I'm just honestly ready to hear some actual camp news. I mean, I know we've heard some whispers that, we've heard whispers. This is the number one important thing that stick out to me. Javon Kinlaw's looking good. Jerick McKinnon looks really good.
Yes.
Very comfortable. We saw a little short snippet of a video. I think the 49ers.com literally released it. But Jimmy was moving around pretty damn well. He's feeling good about it. We don't know if he's eventually going to throw on the brace. I don't know. Other than that, it sucks. I mean, it's funny to say we're in the position where, it's kind of like, for example, the Lakers, who have clinched the #1 seed. It's just kind of like we're waiting to kind of get the next step forward. And we're right damn near it. And it's crazy to say because we just heard the news today, which honestly, I'm not a huge college guy, but once the bowl games and the actual tournament starts, I mean, it gets very nice, obviously. But Pac-10 and Big Ten cancel. I'm sorry, Pac-12, right? Pac-12 and Big Ten. Yeah,
Pac-12.
So sorry for those kids, but with the instant eligibility transfer, I'd be like, okay, there's no season. I'm definitely transferring out. Because you imagine if you're a guy that's on this cusp of eventually, I guess that's a talk for a different day. What about all those kids? And what about some of them that were like on the cusp of becoming, obviously, let's say they were projected to be a mid-round pick. And now, unless you absolutely destroy the combine like no other, it's like, I don't know. If I was some of those kids, I would definitely transfer. It sucks for them. I just don't understand how some of the conferences are going to play and the other ones are not. Shouldn't that be a whole unity thing? I mean, that's
and that's the problem to me with the NCAA. I mean, let's call it for essentially what it is. It's minor league football. They call it college athletes, student athletes. But let's be real. Well, let's be realistic here. Unless you're at a small time school, if you're at a big time school like Alabama, Michigan, or let's just stick with the Big Ten, Michigan, your Ohio States or whatever like that, you're essentially minor league football. And to go ahead and just touch in it real quick, I mean, what about like you said, if you're a mid-round pick who, you're on the border of mid-round, might not be drafted.
4 to 7. 4 to 7.
4 to 7. Needing your senior year to really shock some scouts and here and locally in the Bay Area, they were talking on KMBR about Joe Burrow and how he wasn't the first overall pick going into if you would have projected the 2019 draft, he was projecting from the 2019 draft going into the 2020 draft. He wasn't the first overall pick. And now all of a sudden,
they saw him as like a 4th, 5th, maybe. Going into
go through his senior season, the bowl season, the combine, and all that, and bada bing, bada boom, here he is, the #1 overall pick in the draft.
Yeah, the best. The best quarterback season of all time as far as college goes. Well, that's what they say.
Exactly. So, I mean, if I'm having two, now obviously not college age yet, but having two small sons that are showing interest in playing football, if I'm a parent and my kid's, a possible, like we said, mid-round pick, I'm going up a SEC school, or any of these.
Thing is, don't these like, let's just say it's like going to transfer to an SEC school, for example, because in my own personal opinion, it is the best conference. But I think their rosters are full. I don't think you can really take on a lot of transfers. Because like imagine everybody and their mom trying to transfer for everybody who's already trying to get the program going. It's madness. But
this is where,
talk. I guess that's a conversation
for another day. Yeah, of course. But
those are the biggest things for me. A couple guys have sounded good. Other than that, we're just waiting. I mean, this could be crazy. Are the 49ers.com gonna like actually do? Remember they used to do a little live looking at training camp coverage, even though it was like what 15, 20 minutes. It was something to kind of get a look at.
So this, of course, is new for us as anybody who has followed us for the last year. Last year, I was at camp pretty much every day. So when Adam and I did this show, it was really cool because Adam, of course, had the Twitter and the outside of camp perspective of camp, and I had the physically watching the practices. As far as I know, nobody is at the facility. It's only team, of course, team.
Yeah, the beat writers can't be there. Nothing.
Beat writers aren't there, so nobody is at camp. As far as videos coming out of camp, I have not heard or seen anything come out of Niner camp. I'm pretty sure there'll be some probably players or something putting something out. I'm pretty sure the team will put something out. I know that we've press conferences daily or pretty much daily that we've all kept on. The big story I'm hearing coming out of camp is how good Kinlaw looks. And that to me is a The biggest story, besides, of course, George Kittle's, of course, we're all keeping our fingers crossed, knock on wood, pray, spit, do circles, whatever you got to do that everything remains the same. I personally don't think it's a big story, but I know we're going to have to get into it. Kittle's contract. I'm of the mind of, I think the problem that they're having not getting this done is not knowing exactly where the salary cap is. Of course, we know it's going to go no lower than 175, which is a huge problem considering we were expecting it to go up to, what was it, 228, to something, and to now go down.
Yeah.
That's huge news. And also, of course, the Niners want to get a George Kittle contract done. If you're not going to pay George Kittle, who the hell are you going to pay? I know it's easy for people who scream, "Oh, give him $20 million, $20 million." You know who loves if George Kittle is getting paid $20 million? You know who loves that?
His agent and his parents
Trent
and
Williams.
his wife.
Trent Williams loves if he's going to George Kittle's getting paid $20 million. Because if I'm Trent Williams' agent, you're paying a tight end $20 million, albeit, of course, we know once it's great.
And I actually heard, so we know it's going to get done. Sorry to cut. Go ahead.
Of course.
I'll throw in my.
But yeah. But the Niners are in a position of, we don't have to get this done. We want to, the Niners, we, of course, being the Niners, want to get this done. You don't want to drag this out. But
for sure,
one of the very few positions that can be franchise tagged year after year after year and it make financial sense is tight end. So if I believe the franchise tag for next year is something like $11.5 million or something like that. So albeit this is not what the Niners want to do, but we can franchise tag George Kittle for the next 3 years, not have the finances be crazy, and keep George Kittle under.
Personal opinion, I agree with you. If you're saying his bottom line, there's nobody, it doesn't have to get absolutely done this year. And I felt the same way about Forrest Buckner. It was like we still had the 5th year, and we could still tag him for 2 years, and then I think you get 1 year of transition tag if you wanted to do it. But we all know we're trying to set a good model, and obviously ever since Lynch Hand took over, it's like we want to take care of the guys, and the 49ers have been pretty decent about that. Besides the whole freaking offseason from hell, really, we did. Yeah, we always have taken care of the cornerstone guys at least. I would like to say. I can't think of who we didn't do so with. So I can't think of cornerstone guy. We usually do take care of you, and we do know like when you do an extension kind of early. I mean, why the Patrick Mahomes get deal? Because you're able to obviously give an X amount up front, and then obviously distribute the bet. It works a little better when instead of giving all the way, because we all know the franchise tag money is all guaranteed money. So why would you not just do an extension if you're planning on tagging them anyway? But the other side has to agree to that. So here's the great point. So I do agree with you. And actually, I was watching NFL Network last night, and Michael Irvin finally hopped back on. And obviously, even though he's an ex-Cowboy, I love watching Michael Irvin, especially on NFL football sense. And it was him and Moochie. So it was the best of, if you want to say a little 49ers, but honestly, I can't remember the last time Irvin has been a big hater against the 49ers. Like we don't have a rapper anymore. So 49ers are really good. So he's just talking honestly. So he brought up the point about Kittle. And I want to hear your take on it. He was saying is you do have to get it done because especially on a season like this, when there's not that much time and all that, you need Kittle to be at his all-time energy, bringing everybody together, yada, yada. So he was pretty much saying is you don't want this looming over your head in such an important season. And I agree with that. I think you got to pay him. And this thing can literally get done. Actually, I don't know when the deadline is. Do they have a deadline? I think
they do not have. They do not have.
I think
there is not a deadline
or something. I could be wrong. We'd have to double check that one. But his point was, you want to take care of him right now, so he's at his ultra happiest. This is not looming over anybody. He's going to be 1,010% happy, locked in, bringing everybody together to the maximum of his ability. Because he was almost trying to say, even though I don't see this from Kittle, I can't see Kittle holding something back because he's not as happy. But we are human after all. So if he's hearing certain shit a little bit and they're asking him about it and he doesn't know when it's going to get done, it could just affect things a little bit. And I do agree, such an important season that you just do not want it. It was pretty much you don't want those problems with Michael Irvin was saying. Take care of the guy. We all know once again without him, we're not the same team. No. I mean, if we had, I know we signed Jordan Reed, which is great. I don't know what type of packages we're going to do. Right, because right now I'm actually thinking Jordan Reed is going to be used like a wide receiver the next amount of the time, in my opinion, as well. Like he might line up at a tight end, but with Debo's injury, Jordan Reed is going to be essentially kind of plug and play and learning new terminology. I wouldn't be surprised if Kittle or Jordan Reed, obviously, it would more likely, in my opinion, Jordan Reed, where he flexes out as like the big slot or whatnot, KB. And then obviously it would be Pettis. I think Aiyuk is going to be a little behind the 8 ball a little bit, unfortunately, because this whole stupid offseason deal. Who knows? Maybe it's like, good one. Hey, Aiyuk, just go deep, run a deep post. I mean, at the end of the day, come on, like it is football. Jimmy can totally tell him what to do. But I think he's going to be like right now. I would think he's like the number 3 wide receiver at best, in my opinion. But then big Trent Taylor's coming back and all that. Anyways, I'm just saying. I wouldn't be surprised if literally the Kittle contract gets done right before the opener or some crap. Hopefully very soon. Because I think the longer you wait is just unnecessary. And honestly, they're trying to pinch literally to that degree. Michael Irvin, by the way, was saying $15 million, 4 or 5 years, call it a day. And I think $15 million is fair. To be honest, I was thinking, okay, what is 15 and a half? 15.75. 15.75 does sound a little steeper, but if that's what it takes to get it done, I mean, are we really going to penny pinch over $250,000 too? Is what I'm saying.
So to kind of unpack everything you said right there, Jordan Reed. Just to comment on the Jordan Reed, amazing signing. I compare the Jordan Reed signing this year to the Jason Verrett signing last year. Very, 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 very no risk at all. Very, 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 very high potential ceiling.
Well, here's the cool thing about Jordan Reed. Reed took a year off last year, so his mind should be very nicely fresh. I have
zero expectations for him as far as if he doesn't see the field and it's just for example, if he doesn't see the field in his IR the whole year, doesn't surprise me. If he gets into 16 games and posts a 700-yard season with 4 touchdowns, I'm doing cartwheels. I see very low risk to the Jordan Reed signing. Now, getting back to having to get Kittle's contract done immediately this season, I'm of agree. I want George Kittle eking his contract right before he goes to put on his pads on Saturday to join in the first padded practice. That's why I want George Kittle's contract signed. Right. Or before then, obviously, amazing. If it get done before then, that way I'm of the, shocking to say this, but I'm of the mindset of Michael Irvin. I don't want this hanging over the head. I don't want Kittle answering questions about this during the season. I don't want Kyle Shanahan answering questions about this during the season. I don't want chatter among the locker room of, well, hey, if they haven't got George done, well, then what about, I don't want Mike McGlinchey and Fred Warner thinking, well, hey, they haven't got George Kittle done. What about me? Because as we know that Mike McGlinchey and Fred Warner will, of course, be Mike McGlinchey will be entering his 4th year next year as well. Fred Warner and Mike McGlinchey, so they'll be eligible for contract extension.
Warner would get done first, obviously, because he doesn't have a 5th-year option once again.
I think Fred Warner is done.
And you can tell McGlinchey, I think, that's the guy, if anything. Like, I know we all love Big Mike, and he's a happy guy and all that, but he's not the cornerstone kind of guy. And obviously, we have to pay Trent Williams before we play Mike McGlinchey too. We don't have that many guys to extend, to be completely honest. And then, we don't go overly crazy, and everybody we kind of like, like, for example, I think this could easily be Kendrick Bourne's last year. I don't know what's going to happen with Richard Sherman. This could be easily Richard Sherman's last year. Then he's going to come off the books too. So maybe they are simply telling Kittle, just wait till some contracts come off literally the books next year, and then we promise you, obviously, we're going to do it. Like, we might have to tag you initially, but we are going to guarantee to get this done next year. But, I feel it. I don't know. I don't know where he's literally coming from. Like, does he need a little money up front right now? I don't know. Obviously, if he was really desperate for money, maybe he would be more likely to get something done. So I don't think he's really sweating it either. But once again, it's about It's about all the little dirt that comes with it. It's about even his friends on the team can probably ask him one day when they're having some beers somewhere, hey, what's going on with your contract, man? It's like, I don't know, man. I'm just kind of waiting to hear from my agent. And it's like, I don't know. I think we're all on the same page. I don't think it's the do or die, but I don't know what they're waiting on. Like, what is the difference of money? $500,000, $1 million? Like, those are contracts.
I'm with you. I think it gets done. I think it gets done on the average of a 13.5 with incentives where he can make up upwards of 15, 16, 17.
Well, here is a Michael
That's ultimately
what I'm going to dive deeper into it. And sorry to cut you off again. So $13.5 million sounds low. So Michael Irvin made a great point in 2014, I believe. Jimmy Graham, I think he got tagged at it was like 10.7 million. So he was trying to say is if this is 6 years ago, he pretty much brought up the point of like, let's just say it was a 7% increase of each year from that money. It pretty much almost comes out to 15 million, give or take. And with the inflation, that 7% is the inflation. I think 15 million is more than fair in my opinion for what he does on both sides of the field.
I'm all for it. If John Lynch called me right now and said, TJ, what's a fair price? We want to give Kittle 13. He wants 17. 15 and a half is where
that's what I'm saying. Where is the struggle?
I don't really understand. I mean,
there was a number that leaked out somewhere. Like to be honest, I'm trying to think. When was the last time we were cheap with a player in extension?
Because that's to me is now it's the this is what the tight end market is, which we all understand. Fine. Now, tight end market doesn't move as frequently as, let's say, quarterbacks or your edge, your premier positions, your tackles, your edge rushers, things like that. But let's be realistic. I mean, if anybody's going to reset the tight end market, it's George Kittle. I mean, it has to be.
Jimmy Graham was a premier big wide receiver, and he was an okay blocker, I'm sure, at his peak. But this is a guy who is literally blocking Danielle Hunter, a Pro Bowler, by himself against the Vikings, and I think he did
burying him in the back of the end zone and laughing at like a maniac.
Griffin too, and he was also. I mean, I know he's kind of fallen off a little bit, but the point is, the guy is getting blocking defensive ends by himself. Like, he definitely deserves an extra amount, obviously on top of the tight end type of salary. Premier, and obviously if you're going back to Jimmy Graham 2014 and you do a simply inflation rate of 7% on each year, I think 50%. But so my question is, when's the last time we didn't get an extension done with somebody because maybe we were cheap or penny pinching?
Buck. I think that would be the closest would be Buck.
Shit. I already tried to move on from him in my heart until I see him in Colts jersey.
Yeah. Ooh, that one, I go live when he posted out when he had sent out the tweet about selling his house in the Bay. I shed a little tear because as we signed off before Corona, as we signed off for the end of season 3, you and I were pretty much of the full agreement that it was a done deal. DeForest Buckner was coming back, and Eric Armstead was going to be playing in another uniform next year.
I still would have done it. I'm not even trying to throw that bad juju.
I would have bet my bottom dollar. I would have bet my bottom dollar that's what the Niners did. Now, of course, moving on to that, we have the signing of, why did I forget his name? The former top 3 pick D lineman we just signed. Dion Jordan. Why did I forget his name? Dion Jordan. The Richer.
I'll bet the house that Jordan Reed will make the team. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna play all 16 games. Dion Jordan is a guy. It's like I think they're just gonna give him an opportunity to showcase himself a little bit. And like, if I can literally see if he doesn't get the job done with Chris Kocherik's ass yelling at him, that's one thing I kind of like. And by the way, he's dating Dante Pettis' sister. So that to me, it's something instead of nothing. You're on the same team. You wants to prove himself because Dante will be like, yo, this Dion is not trying that hard. Like, imagine all those kind of talks behind the scenes to his parents. Like, he wouldn't want that. I think he's going to try to prove himself. And if you can't have Chris Kocherik yelling at him and bringing out the best out of a clearly talented guy, that just can't get his shit together. but he's probably like 29, 30 years old right now, something like that. So it's like do or die. But if he doesn't get it done, I can see cutting him and bringing back DeMontre later or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I essentially look at this as two things. A, it's Ronald Blair insurance, as Super Blair works his back.
I think he might need. I think Blair. It's I think rightfully so for the 49ers. It's like you're not just going to throw him out here and just start giving him all this crazy amount of reps and shit. Like you bring him along slowly, properly, so nothing stupid happens. And of course, but we definitely this is the number 4 edge audition role. I'm actually surprised. Maybe we can. I'm surprised we waited so long for these Reed and Jordan signings. It's like why did we wait so long to get these guys in the freaking Zoom meetings, going over new terminologies, all those kind of things and all that. I don't know what the hell was. I don't know what was the thought. Maybe they just want to look at our own guys first on the field before they maybe prematurely brought in somebody else. And they're like, hey, we do not exactly see what we like. It's time to get on the phones. That's how I feel.
But
I like it.
I think that he's Ronald Blair insurance. I think we didn't sign DeMontre Moore for the simple fact of, hey, let's bring in this 3rd overall pick who was talented enough to get selected 3rd overall. And if we could turn him into our 4th edge rusher, our third edge rusher,
3,
then 4, there's no reason to look. We love DeMontre Moore, but if he can play up to the 3rd overall pick, love you, DeMontre, but we don't need you, bro.
I mean, we don't even need him. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, it's definitely the case of. So we essentially signed him over DeMontre, and there was rumblings about Ziggy Ansah too, who had spent time in the past with Chris Kocherik and their time in Detroit. We're giving Jordan the first crack, and like this could be like a basketball. You bring in somebody for a little bit, doesn't show you what you want to see. You cut him. You literally go to the next guy. So he gets the first crack at it. That's what I'm saying. It's like. I think he has some good things working for him. And once again, we all know, like, we've all seen plenty of guys have solid seasons on a good championship team, and and God bless them. Hopefully they help us win a Super Bowl, and then they go on and get a contract elsewhere type of thing. So I could easily see Jordan just enjoying all the fun and the championship atmosphere that we have. Kyle Juszczyk said, like, we're essentially hitting the ground running, which is true. We have a big advantage being on a team of continuity. I feel for all the teams, the coaches and all that. They're pretty much screwed. That's why I was actually advocating to push back the season. So the rookies, all these other teams who are actually making tweaks, you can change a coordinator, right? It could be like the Rams. They're changing the defensive. They change defensive coordinators, but I bet you they're not even going to change a crazy amount. They're going to do little by little. Mike McCarthy, by the way, said the Dallas Cowboys were number 1 in total offense last year, number 1 in yards, right? Mike McCarthy said they kept Kellen Moore, their offensive coordinator, but it sounds like they're keeping the same offense and they're just going to do little tweaks because with this whole offseason, you can't make crazy changes. And once again, if you have a whole new system, Bengals, for example, they're with Joe Burrow with a rookie. Obviously, they're in the 2nd year of the offense, so excuse me, they're partially, but you get my point. It's going to be so tough for some of these teams to come along, and we're literally blessed that we brought back the majority of players, and we have a lot of continuity going on. So I'm happy about that.
Well, that and the continuity and the coaching staff, obviously only losing Joe Woods, which that to me has the potential to be if the defense falls off, any type of of course there is an anticipated let's just say instead of number 2 overall, we're number 5th, number 6th. I think that's to be expected just because you see such fluctuating in the top 5 to 6 defenses a year. But let's say we end up middle of the pack. Of course, not anticipating that, but let's just say it happens. I think that losing Joe Woods will have an insane amount of reason to do that. I anticipate, of course, us, like I just said, being a top 6 defense. I don't think that losing Joe Woods is going to make our D-line that much slower, that much less aggressive, make our linebackers slow. I don't think that it'll have that trickle-down effect, but I don't think it's going to be not missed. Now, moving on to me, I think one of the biggest, before we go ahead and wrap up here, is rookies. to do our rookies to watch. The big rookie. Of course, I asked this into the text group that mysteriously isn't a text group only for me. But
what are these guys doing?
No,
I know you're not that busy.
On my phone, bro. I have no idea. I'm so pissed and irritated.
Oh, but everybody else like an umpire. You know what? F y'all. All right. I'll find you 49ers numbers to talk to on a group chat.
Right, we'll do it. Damn it. But rookies to watch. I'm of course I think everybody Kinlaw, that's pretty much defensive rookie, number one to keep your eyes on. The offensive rookie that I'm most intrigued in isn't Brandon Ayuk. It's actually Javon Jennings. I think Javon Jennings is Jalen Hurd insurance.
I'm sorry, because I don't want some guy out there being like, you can't even get his name right. Jawan.
Mm-hmm. Jawan. Okay. Jawan.
I like that.
Jawan. Okay.
Jawan Jennings. I think he has a great chance to make the team now after Benjamin opted out. And then after Benjamin injury, I think he has a chance to be like the number 7.
Yeah. John Lynch pretty much essentially came out without coming out and saying that Debo's pretty much probably expected to miss the first month of the season.
Low key.
I think he left the idea of let's be realistic. I think he starts on the PUP list and misses the first 6 games.
I think he could maybe play week 1, but they're like, once again, we don't want this turning into some weird situation where next thing you know, a foot injury becomes lingering and when we need him the most. Like, for example, if we can't just sneak in the playoffs, because let's just say ultimate worst 49er season is sneaking in the playoffs, you definitely want to make sure you're going to be full go with everybody, right? We've seen some Who would want to play? Imagine who would want to play this wild card team. I would literally feel sorry for him and feel good about it. And I mean, with no home field advantages, but once again, I think teams like us can go on the road, which is not even going to be a big road thing. I mean, we killed it last year on the road overall.
We had a better road record than a home record last year.
There you go. So my point is, they want to make sure, Debo, we know. For example, Michael Jordan broke his foot his rookie season, and they threw him on a pitch count and everything when they came back. But the whole point is, you don't want the foot injury to turn into something serious. So I think they're gonna.
No, we don't want this Trent Taylor situation.
Probably at least 2 weeks, maybe type of thing. At least hold him out the first 2 games and play it by ear. But they just don't want the 49er fans freaking out when he's not starting week 1. I think that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, and so just brace yourself. That doesn't mean, oh my God, the season's over. Shut it down. We're gonna get a top 5 pick.
Kendrick Bourne, you gotta
trade everybody.
Kendrick Bourne's time from the sounds of it, dude. Like if we've seen all the videos, the whole offseason, like we've been seeing the videos. But if Kendrick Bourne doesn't literally show himself as, does he want to be a career number 3, number 4 guy? I mean, I don't know. That's up to you. But I think this is his opportunity to secure for him, not to necessarily gonna be a number 2 with us. I think he could be a number 2 with us at least for the majority of the year until Ayuk kind of surpass him. And who knows what's going to happen. But I'm saying it's like this is his career make or break to literally become a number 2 maybe next year permanently somewhere. So let's just see what he's all about. This is it for him. I totally agree. I think if KB is going to be more than a 3rd, 4th receiver for us, this is the year that he does it. If he's going or any team next year, in general, if he's going to be a starting receiver, let's just say a starting receiver for an NFL franchise, this is going to be the year he breaks out. And whether it's us or another team that says, hey, we need a divisional team that's seen him progress over the course of his 4-year career, that can say next year, hey Kendrick.
Yeah,
Pete Carroll over here.
So see that.
Yeah, man, we love you, man. You made some big catches against us, man. Yeah, man. Want to come in the building, man. We got a spot open, and we want to see possibly get you going.
Adam, you're breaking my heart here, bro. You're breaking my heart.
You're the one that said division rival ring the doorbell.
I could so see that happening because I could. Man, that seems like such a Adam. That seems just like a Snyder Carroll move. Is just a snag Kendrick Bourne, just like they did DJ Reed. That was
Oh God.
that was a move that I did not expect. I expected him to clear waivers and just be placed on IR, and we'll see him in 2021. I did not expect him to be snatched.
That seemed. I mean, once again, I am not going to be the guy, but I mean, at the same time, it's like to me, it sounded like a greedy move, but to me, it also seemed like maybe they just weren't. I'm not going to say overall happy with his development. Maybe they just saw him as a versatile guy that he wasn't going to be literally starting material. But I mean, aren't those guys important on the back half of your DB group and for depth purposes themselves? And once again, he was still barely going in. I mean, he got drafted in 2018, right?
Yeah. And see, the only
year, I don't understand.
The only thing that questions me is I think that they weren't happy that he tore his pec away from the team. Now, I don't think that's a reason to cut a guy. The way John Lynch explained it on KNBR, he said that they didn't see holding a roster spot for him until November, December-ish.
Okay, now
is when they thought he could come back.
You think they found it out? He was freaking on a jet ski and fell or something weird?
Maybe. I never heard anything exactly on how he tore it. I just assumed that he tore it during a workout.
Yeah. Well, that would be the only thing that makes sense. Like they got mad at him for the way he tore it, doing something reckless. But even if so, it's like,
to me,
he wasn't your I don't know.
I do think that the move is questionable just off the simple fact, knowing that we don't have our whole secondary signed besides Jimmy Ward past this season. So I'm putting top priority, and I'd love to get your feedback of the starting five, or let's just say the starting four that are free agents: Tart, Sherm, Witherspoon, Mosley, and K1. I'm putting back the priority to bring back K1 and whoever starts over Mosley and Witherspoon. And if that means I let Sherm and Tart walk, I'm okay with that. Ideally, I would love to have Sherm. I would love my starting two corners and K1 back. And I'll go ahead and draft a starting free safety in the draft to compete with.
Well, here's what I thought about too. See, obviously we're literally going to, I mean, and to be honest, are we going to bet against Richard Sherman in a contract year, essentially low-key again? I'm just saying, he had a great season last year. He gave up. Everyone wants to freaking talk about the Devontae Adams catch and the Sammy Watkins catch. I mean, God forbid. I mean, I know it was that important time. And I mean, even sure came out and said, I needed to be better against, for example, the Watkins play. But that play didn't conclude the whole damn Super Bowl itself.
Exactly.
Anyway, this is a huge year for everybody. So Tart, I will bring back, in my opinion, because unless Marcel Harris just takes a giant step forward.
Yeah.
Tart, but Mosley for sure, because I think he will take a step forward.
I think he'll be the
starter. Williams situation is weird, and then it's like, okay. I don't know what's going to happen between, are we going to bring back, maybe Akello takes another prove-it deal, and then maybe Sherman does walk? Because if Sherman walks, that opens up a lot of money. But I could see, Sherman, like one last year, we're going to draft somebody to groom, maybe in the second round, something like that. But here's what I thought about K1 too. I love K1 Williams, and it seems like everyone is rightfully so. It seems like, have you noticed, like he was like the most appreciated guy this offseason almost in a weird way?
Oh, yeah. I think he was one of the most underrated players on defense last year.
So imagine if Tavarius Moore takes the next step forward, maybe you can let K1 Williams go and you just make Jimmy Ward a full-time slot kind of a deal, and then Tavarius is ready to start at free safety. You get what I'm saying? Because Jimmy Ward already plays, obviously, the slot sometimes when K1 blitzes, right? And we all know Jimmy's a great blitzer, tackler himself. Because how much are we going to pay? How much is K1 Williams going to demand? Is he going to give us a team-friendly deal, or is he going to want top starting slot quarterback? That might be the decision where we're like, we love you, but not that much we pay you this because, everybody's got choices in the words of E40.
If K1 Williams isn't on the team next year, I don't think it has nothing to do with this play. I think, like I just said, I think he's one of the most underrated players on defense last year. I think
he is, but there's a price tag on those guys when you can only. I know he's nearly
in an open market. Everybody else gets the same film. It's the way that people describe it to me is that, look, all the game film you get, the game that you watch, other coaches watch too. And they get game film that you don't get, and they're able to talk to former coaches and players and stuff like that. So,
and I wouldn't be mad if you take the biggest check off in that year. If we're coming off a Super Bowl victory, here's going to be the other interesting part. If we're coming off a Super Bowl victory, maybe he's like, man, I love this locker room, but at this point, now that I got myself a ring, I need to literally make the best financial decision for myself. And K'Waun Williams was no spring chicken anymore either. I could see him, if we do win the Super Bowl, taking the most money possible. And to be honest, maybe that's another reason we cut DJ Reed, is because like maybe Jason Verrett is almost near to that point where we feel really good. Let's just say something, God forbid, something happens to K1. Who's going to be the next slot in line?
Yeah, that was my biggest worry too when DJ went down. As I said, damn, who's our
Jimmy Ward down, and then Tarvarius Moore is at free safety. So
free safety.
Definitely wait it all and see here, because I don't think you can say here's $25 million, sign all the here's $30 million. Make your choices on what DBs you're going to sign. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, no. I mean, to me, it's I see Mosley or Witherspoon. I'm just putting it as the starter opposite Sherman. I see them coming back. I don't think they're going to have a crazy enough.
Coming back, and Sherman does walk. Maybe.
Okay. If Sherman does walk, I can see both of them. I almost think that we need to. Not like it's a priority where we're going to be desperate and get screwed over, and lose our leverage. But yeah, if Sherm walks, I could see. K1 to me is the one I'd like to bring back. He's the luxury. He's the one that I'd love to have back. But if he says, hey, look, I'm looking for the most money on the open market, God bless you, K1. We loved you in red and gold. We're not mad at you, brother. Make your paper, but I'm not paying a slot corner, top cornerback money. That's just not when I have
money. Yeah. So
yeah,
that's tough.
what I had.
And I think that Witherspoon could be a guy that's like, let's just say he doesn't win a starting position this year, which could easily happen. He'll take a prove it deal if Sherman walks. All right, give me one last opportunity. Let's just say we do draft somebody in the second, I can see Mosley gets brought back, Verrett gets brought, Keller gets brought back, and they let essentially Spoon and Verrett battle out on the outside, because we all know if Jason Verrett is healthy, and I think it's really cool that he did resign and he didn't opt out either. So he's clearly a guy that's probably starving to literally prove himself. He didn't have a significant injury last year. I think it was more so, hey, why don't you just take the rest of the year off? Learn the system thoroughly more. The whole group. I don't think it was an extreme injury, in my own personal opinion. So, I mean, like I said, I think that there's so many guys in the DB department getting free agents. That's the insane part.
The way I love in a way the way we've set it up this year, because essentially we've got our core D-line guys locked in. Our core, this is the face of our defense locked in. Obviously, Fred Warner is going to be somebody we're going to have to get a contract soon here. But I love the fact that our secondary is pretty much all on hey, make or break your career years. I mean, Sherman, obviously
more hunger.
Nothing that happens this year is going to affect Richard Sherman's overall career that much. He's still going to be one of the greatest corners of all time. Even if he goes out there and completely falls on his face this year, it's not going to, affect the last, the last years of his, the last few years of his career. Richard Sherman's still a great corner. I think he'll get what happens
that much in my own personal opinion.
Knock on wood, barring some career-ending injury, I see Richard Sherman getting a contract next year, if not with the Niners, with another team. Witherspoon Mosley, you're on prove it, show us what you got deals. K1, hey, contract year. This is probably going to be your last heyday.
This one out, dog. All right, I'm sorry. We're just going to ride this one out for the year.
Yep. And so I love the position that we're in. Contract years motivate people. And, we have a whole entire secondary that also, as much as praise as we've gotten this offseason and everything like that, I see the secondary still with that inner hunger to prove themselves, because we've heard a lot about how it's easier to play secondary when you have one of the best D lines in football.
Yeah.
And so these are a lot of players with pride of saying, hey, look, nobody in that secondary is going to deny that we probably have the best D line room in all of football.
Yeah,
but
still.
those players with some pride that say, hey, you know what? We're not some scrubs ourselves. Jimmy Ward's, hey, I feel I'm a Pro Bowl snub. Jaquaski Tart probably feels like he's a Pro Bowl snub. Obviously Sherm, we all know.
I was going to bring about the defense. Remember when you brought up Joe Woods earlier, and maybe we will take a little step back. See, I don't think we will, and I think at worst it'll be a push because let's not forget all the. So part A about that is a lot of the principles that Joe Woods brought in. Salah learned, and obviously John Lynch was around. The other coaches too, the defensive back coach. So I think a lot of those principles that he did bring into the mix, those just don't vanish. Those are still lingering around, and hopefully Salah will learn from those. Then part B, let's not forget about all the injuries that we did have on the team last season.
We did.
Quan should be coming back. Now he's going to be 2 years removed from the ACL. So let's think about that aspect. But Hart missed games. Obviously, I'm not really going to bring up Emmanuel, but then obviously D Ford only played in the low 200 of snaps.
Games.
Who else? I know. I'm sorry. No, he only played 200. And he missed 4 or 5 games too. Yeah, on top of it. Yeah. So we did have some injuries that were kind of significant.
DJ Jones. Losing DJ Jones.
Losing Ronald Blair. So my whole point is and obviously the buck is going to. Yeah. So my point is, I think at worst it could be a push, and I wouldn't actually be surprised. Let's just say D Ford, in the year before in KC, I know I brought this up before. He played 1,000 snaps literally, and then he only got 7.5 sacks last season on 206 snaps or 212 if I remember off top correctly. Let's just say he plays 600-700 snaps. That's almost 8 games worthy of snaps, more than that. So my point is him, a full-blown Quan Alexander coming back the whole season, he can play the entire year. Once again, getting back some depth. DJ Jones is an important piece, especially as far as depth goes. He's going to be Kinlaw should only be a nickel defensive tackle until X amount of time, in my own personal opinion.
I see Kinlaw is coming in on nickel. Obvious pass rush situations.
Yeah. Because we have enough depth where he's not essentially needed to start. So I can see us being a push, if not a little better in certain departments. So I don't expect to take a step back just for Joe Woods stuff.
So when I said a step back, I think we have the potential to, if you take away the statistics, we might give up more passing yards. We might give up maybe fewer big plays, things of that nature. But I see the potential of being a better defense, even though maybe it doesn't show statistically. Just like I think that we'll actually be a better offense this year, even though it might not show up statistically. Jimmy might not pass for, over 4,000 yards. He might pass for 397, for example. I think he'll pass for more than that, but Debo might not have 800 yards. He might only have 600 because, of course, the missed games, but also being able to have other weapons spreading the ball around. Now, this was a quick question I wanted to get your opinion on as far as Kinlaw is concerned. If I told you that Kinlaw would play 16 games, have a total of 73 tackles, 6 sacks, no picks, and 1 forced fumble, would you call that a successful year?
Of course. Are you kidding me?
Of course.
Once again, with no off season, my expectations of him are once again.
Okay, so let's add one more year. 61 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Would you take that as a successful year?
I guess not, if you want me to play yes or no.
Okay,
I would want a little bit more. Once again, if you're coming in on majority of nickel snaps, and to be honest, remember,
but
Jones was even
this is
flashing really nicely. Go ahead.
But this is the funny twist about that 61 tackles, 15, solo, 3 sacks and 2, I think I said 2 forced fumbles. That's DeForest Buckner's second season. The 6 sacks was his rookie season. And so it's funny that, and the reason I bring that up is that everybody has in their idea, Kinlaw to replace Buckner, Kinlaw to replace Buckner. But the idea being is that I see Kinlaw somewhere into that 3 to 6 sack range.
You asked if it was successful season. So to me,
okay, so
it could be a chill, okay season. And I'm not saying like Buckner would have a. Once again, let's not forget. Before last year, Armstead had like what? Before last year, he had. I think he had 3.5 sacks the year before. So I mean, Solomon Thomas, I think his rookie year had 3.5 his first year. I mean, so
yeah.
Would I be disappointed? No, but I'm not gonna say it's a successful one either. I guess.
Okay, so that's pretty much the answer I was looking for.
But you know what I and I don't know if it's gonna happen or not. Blair is. I don't know if he's going to be in week 1 ready to start in base defense. Like I don't even know if he's going to be available week 1. To be honest with you. So here's what I'm thinking of: is Javon Kinlaw going to be forced to start in base next to DJ? Because who's gonna play defensive end? So like for example, it could be DJ and Kinlaw in the middle, Armstead as big end, left end, and then both on the other side. Because I don't think they're going to ask D4 to play in base. Who else is there? Day's gone.
Yeah.
Buckner's gone. Who's the next in line?
Yeah, I think with that's who I would be, unless Julian Taylor,
Harry Hyder Jr. maybe.
Yeah, Solomon Thomas. I don't see that.
Jeez. Okay, I feel like an idiot now. Yeah, is it going to be solid this season where he actually does because he can be very nice playing next to DJ Jones, I think, and if they want to put Armstead. And to be honest, Solomon Thomas can play big end too. Big end is like playing the best tackle. I mean, this is not a and I think at big end, once again, that's more natural for Solomon Thomas. So like I hate it when you had him put him at Leo, obviously a right end spot. People were like, "Oh, that's not." Obviously, we all know that wasn't ideal. We were literally forced to play him there. The coaching staff felt like he was best. But he can set the edge and have enough quickness to pay the edge at left end, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, in a pinch, Eric Armstead needs a blow, or Bosa or whoever. I could see
your base
Solomon
defensive line right now.
I'm open. My base defensive line right now, I would say, obviously you have Bosa and Armstead at the ends. I would say DJ Jones and.
See, because I was thinking we're going to put essentially Armstead at Buckner's old spot next to DJ Jones. So then I was thinking who's going to play big end.
So then who would you put at end?
I would put
Blair if he's ready.
At this very moment, I would. I think he's
Blair if he's ready.
Well, to be honest, Armstead did play a decent amount of big end at times last year. He did set the edge well. I think they could both do it. I just think I wonder what they're actually going to do this season. Because if we kept Armstead essentially over Buckner, I'm thinking we might actually put Buckner at the 3 tech. I'm sorry, Armstead at the 3 technique next to DJ Jones this year. But I can also see Julian Taylor obviously being next to DJ Jones. They put Armstead at end, or they can play solo at 3 technique too and leave Armstead and put Armstead obviously at big end next to Jones. It's going to be interesting who's going to be the first trotted out unit.
I'm going to say obviously.
And they might have Leo to during games. Who's going to be?
I'm going to say you put a famous show saying, put a gun to my head. I'm going to say it ends up being Bosa and Armstead at the ends, and then Kinlaw and DJ Jones.
So you think Kinlaw's going to start 3-down player from the get-go?
I think he's going to be forced to because I don't see Sully. I see Sully as a reserve. Sully's going to play some snaps this year.
Are you going to be surprised if Sully ends up starting? Because I'm not going to be surprised. That's why I literally forgot about him at first. He became like an afterthought for me, even though I got love for him.
I'm not going to be surprised. I mean, he was the 3rd overall pick. I'm not now. Obviously, we know he was picked too high.
And
Solomon Thomas is not the third overall pick.
And a beautiful contract year with things opening up on the defensive line a little bit.
Hey, and this is as we talked about the secondary. This is what I love about our defensive line, is that if you don't make it in this D line, are you going to make it on any? Hey, Solomon Thomas, if you don't eat on this defensive line with the talent that's around you, are you ever going to eat in the NFL? Hey, Julian Taylor, if you can't eat with this defensive line, are you ever going to eat in the NFL? Now, of course, we assume some of those players are going to eat and are talented because we've seen it. We've seen flashes from Sully. We've seen flashes from Julian Taylor. Obviously, we've seen flashes from DJ Jones.
Right.
But to me, I'm open competition in camp. I would say Kinlaw, just because you would assume 13th overall pick, or 14th overall pick.
The whole offseason is the reason why I think it's going to be Solomon Thomas or Julian Taylor. If I had to put money on it, one of those two will start in base at least.
Yeah,
over Kinlaw because of the offseason. But if Kinlaw does start all 3 downs week 1, oh my God, then I'm celebrating, because I know if he without an offseason ends up literally being a 3-down player from day 1, that means he's that damn good that early with no offseason.
Okay, so we're pretty much of the mindset. So I'm assuming we're agreeing on your nickel D line is Ford, Bosa, Armstead, and Kinlaw. That's your nickel obvious pass rush.
To be completely honest, that's week 1 we're talking about. Because week 1, the tricky thing is I can see Kinlaw having a fair amount of sprinkles, because once again, at the end of the day, it's about snaps, right? Especially nickel. Let's just say they give Sully the first opportunity in nickel to kind of showcase himself week 1, being the more guy that's been there a little longer and all that. But let's just say he's not getting home. Maybe it's let's put in Julian Taylor a couple sprinkles. He doesn't get home. Okay, now it's Kinlaw time, and then then obviously you're going to rotate, right? I mean, everyone's going to get snaps. It's like in basketball. Does it matter who starts depending on how many minutes you get, how many shot attempts you get?
That's your starter. Okay, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up after this question. We've gone long, but it's been so long since we chopped it up, Niner Ball, y'all. We're just having a great time.
It's been a long time when you forget about Solomon Thomas and Julian Taylor for a second.
Yes. Who do we have? I think we're in agreement that the 3 linebackers are Warner, Greenlaw, and Kwan. Now, who comes off in nickel? Is it Kwan or is it Greenlaw?
I got my money on Quan over Greenlaw right now, just from this pure speed aspect. I know Greenlaw played really well in his rookie season. I think you don't think Quan is going to be – I'm not saying Greenlaw. Greenlaw seems like a pretty motivated guy. Like, I see the way he tweets all about he's almost like a linebacker, young Sherman, not necessarily like Dick Sherman Seattle, but I can tell he has that, like, he develops his own chip on his shoulder kind of a thing. But
he's a group
like Xander's not going to be super duper fired up. And he heard rumblings playing with essentially one arm, the Super Bowl missing some tackles he wanted to go out like that in 2019, right?
I mean, I'll put you this way: when you talked about cap casualties,
Quan speed, and when he was healthy, even though he was coming off ACL tear, he's his sideline ability. I think it's clearly above a notch on Dre Greenlaw, and that's no disrespect to him.
Yeah. This is and it should be Dre. Let's not forget, we all love Dre Greenlaw. He was my rookie to watch last year. We all remember the clinch by the inch. We all love but let's not forget, last year was his rookie year. K1 Alexander is a veteran, so it's okay it's not a knock to say K1 Alexander is a better player at this moment than Dre Greenlaw. That's to be expected.
Dude,
with Dre Greenlaw only entering his year.
I think he's literally 25 years old right now.
Yeah, and see, to me, K1
younger than Reuben Foster by a few months.
Yeah, I put K1. I believe it was with K1 Williams, D Ford, and Kwan. Sorry, I said K1. I meant Kwan. You're right.
Kwan. Anyway, he just turned 26 August 3rd, a week ago.
August 3rd.
26.
So same age as Reuben Foster.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so, I mean, and I think, let's not forget that the Ford, I think it was Ford, Sherman, and Bosa, or Ford, Sherman, or no, it was Ford, Bosa, and Alexander were on the field together. It was a combination that had Alexander and Ford in it. It was like a passer rating of 0.002 or some crazy low number last year. So let's not forget that when Quan Alexander was on the field before he got hurt, it was insane what our coverage ability was able to do. Yep. So let's not forget, and also the big two things we're big on mindset and motivation and things like that on this show, being just as important as physical ability to do something is. When you talked about future cap casualties for the Niners, the first two names that always came up were D Ford and Quan Alexander.
Well, they're just two. I was just about to bring up. Remember before the draft, it was Tart, Ford, and Alexander was supposed to be on the block, and I actually do believe it to a certain extent. Even though I think it was the 49ers being like, let's see what we could get. It wasn't like we're thirsty, and obviously that's why we kept all. No. But I think they don't think they actively sought to trade Jaquiski Tart. I think just Jaquiski Tart was they wanted to see what they could get for Jaquiski Tart. There's a difference between saying I'm going to float this player out and see what fielders I get back versus no, we're actively seeking to trade it. The Niners were actively seeking to trade Marquise Goodwin. The Niners were not actively seeking to trade, which was the best decision ever. I mean, and which sucks too, because we remember Marquise showing out some good some good ball play, especially at the end of 2017 or whatnot. But I mean, we traded him and he opted out. So like, how much of a nice little sprinkle of a goodbye was that for us almost?
Look, I want to say this with utmost respect. I respect Marquise Goodwin as a brother, as a black man, as a man. And I've talked to his mom on several occasions. Nice family, mother's a lovely lady. This is not a knock on Marquise Goodwin as a person at all, but good riddance, bruh. I was done with the Marquise Goodwin wanting to be an Olympic athlete. You know, I'm very look, Marquise.
Like his career's venture has always been a little this.
And this is my thing: is look, Marquise,
He's a wave in the ocean.
With Marquise Goodwin being an Olympic athlete, very few people are blessed with the speed that he has, by all means. But are you an Olympic athlete or are you a football player? If you're a football player, I need you focused on football. If you're an Olympic athlete, then go focus on the Olympics.
Right. You know, he had going on, concentrating on having a baby, losing a baby, the whole whoop-de-whoop.
And look, as a father, I couldn't possibly understand, and somebody who's had miscarriages before, I couldn't imagine carrying a baby that close to term and then losing that child and then being able to go out there and play a football game. I could not handle that. It was
depressing as hell, but he felt like he needed to play.
Yeah. So I want to make that very clear before people think that I'm talking shit about Marquise Goodwin.
No. And I want to be clear about people opting out in general. My whole point of this wasn't like specifically calling out Marquise Goodwin. My whole thing about some people opting out was, we all know what they say in a joking term is the NFL is not for long. I think some of these people that are opting out are kind of shooting themselves in the foot. For example, this could have been Travis Benton's opportunity to reunite with Shanny and actually have a little production with us and make the team and everything. So I can see players like him. Some people are opting out. It's like, you are not guaranteed to be on a roster next year, and I think it's really going to hurt you. And then part B. Yeah. So that was part A of my thing of people opting out. Part B, we've seen some people obviously opting out, saying because their families or whatnot, and that is respectable to a certain point. I'm not saying I don't believe them. So like Nate Solder, the starting tackle of the Giants, and this is a big year for the Giants. He's won Super Bowl rings with the Patriots. He has money. My whole thing about people saying that they're opting out because like family things or whatnot, it's like, you can literally quarantine yourself, get tested like they're going to have to do every single day anyways, then go see your family. Nobody's saying blindly go into your family's house and starts kissing on your babies and your mama and your girl. So it's like, I feel like they're trying to kind of kind of play themselves and us from the media standpoint of like saying, is like, nobody's saying go to your house untested and start doing all these things recklessly, but you can easily quarantine yourself for a few days, keep getting tested, and if you're negative, then I think it'll be more than fine. But it's almost like, hey, let's take the year off kind of a thing. And I'm not saying everybody. That's what kind of felt to me with some of the majority. And I think they might screw themselves future financially is all my point is.
So I know a player who used to play for, I believe he was drafted by the Raiders. Ended up playing for, I want to say Buffalo and Miami, or like Houston and Miami or something. Was a roommate of my roommate of one of my group home staffs, and he said that when I don't even remember the head coach of the Raiders at the time, but he said that when he was drafted, they brought in all the rookies and undrafted signings and everything like that, and he said that his position coach, he played tight end, walked in his room, put a list of a list on the table and said, we're already looking for y'all's replacements.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's how real. This is literally the first meeting that they have as NFL players. And their position coach is already walking in with a list full of potential people to replace them.
Right.
That's real the NFL.
Exactly that's how like some of these people are gambling, like to a huge degree. They're gambling.
Now, I will not. I want to make this clear and I won't speak for Adam, but I'm pretty sure that he'll agree with me we're not talking shit about the decision people make. The decision to opt out is completely up to you. It is a personal decision. Right. I can't tell somebody how to, to use a baseball, for example, Buster Posey with the Giants. I personally didn't want Buster to opt out. I think it hurt the Giants. Obviously by our 7 record.
He's that much of a difference maker. You could have put yourself in a wild card hunt, and now there's 8 teams on each side this year.
Yeah, so I think that this hurt the Giants, but I'm not Buster. I'm not Buster's wife, and I'm not their newborn adopted premature babies that are high risk. So I cannot make that decision for Buster. Right. I could just say what I would do personally if I was Buster Posey. I would have played. Because I know the Giants need me, especially in a 60-game season when, let's be real, the championship is up in the air. It's anybody's game. And look at the A's. The A's have the best record in baseball.
Look at the Nationals last year. I know it was a full season. They barely got lucky to sneak in the playoffs. They ended up winning the whole damn thing. So
who you telling, bro?
More so this year. This is even more so this year.
You're talking to a fan of a team that literally got our playoff spot in 2010, the last day of the season. Literally, the Giants didn't clinch a playoff spot until the last day of the season in 2010.
Yep.
And won the World Series. You know, you're talking to a team that had to come back from 2-0 down, 3-1 down. So you never know. Is the point? You never know. And
I do respect Buster's thing. I think to him was, and once again, you do never know. And he actually had experienced that. But it was definitely, I have rings, I have money. This was a time where he didn't feel forced to adopt these girls, but that was his calling, and I'm okay with that.
Joey Bart is slowly. I feel Joey's breath breathing down my neck. I think that had a little bit to do with it. Look. Y'all, I know this is a Niner show and everything like that, but I want to get this very clearly. Look, nobody is a bigger Buster Posey fan than me. Okay, I literally have a backpack the man's number on my backpack. Like, I love Buster Posey. I'm the loudest person to scream, "Hey, we want some Posey!"
And then he's going to get traded next year for your young, new, hot prospect. And
probably.
Thank you, Buster.
Break my heart. But anyway, we'll love you. I will be, trust me, I'm already out there petitioning for the Buster statue right next to the Willie Mays one. But anyway, so when we start talking giant statues next to Willie Mays, I think it's about time to wrap up the show. But
no.
But before we get out of here, we of course want to remind everybody to please stay safe, y'all. Social distance. Adam and I, of course, live here in California, so we are crazy hotspot of coronavirus. So
more so you guys. I mean, I'm in SoCal and it's a little better here in San Diego. And but yeah, at the end of the day, don't be reckless. And you know, obviously I want to live my life too. You know, I've been going out someplace or whatnot. I haven't been going to a rager with 40 people, but you know, just take the right precautions. And I think once again, at the end of the day, is just doing the basics. Just don't have dirty hands and putting them in your mouth, picking your nose, and that kind of crazy stuff. Because I think that's how you really ultimately get it.
Stuff that we learned as a kid. I mean, I agree with you. Do I go out? Yeah, I'm gonna go out for to hang out with a homie right now. Matter of fact, as soon as we're done with this. Now, are we gonna be social distanced? Probably not. But I mean, I trust this man. You know, I'll put it to you this way. If he had coronavirus, I would have caught it already because I've seen him a million times. But when I go on the bus, when I go into the store, am I social distanced? Am I putting on my mask? Yes. Is coronavirus as crazy? Are you going to die just by simply walking outside? No. But is it real? Should you take precautions? Yes. We want to see everybody here available for next week's show. We don't want to, you know, have to visit anybody on live support or anything like that.
Yeah.
And let's be realistic is that, you know what? Not even just for you know, us civilians, for a lack of better word, but you know, you never know that you know, waitress that you come in contact with not wearing your mask and unknowingly pass coronavirus to could serve Jimmy G Cool next, and now Jimmy G Cool has coronavirus, and so you never know. This shit is crazy. It passes crazy. Just wear your mask, people. Look, we all don't like it. We're all trying to move on to this. You know, we all want to get back to our lives. People are facing evictions. This is craziness. Please, y'all, wear your masks. Keep everybody safe. If you're high risk, try to take as many precautions. Try not to go outside as least as possible, y'all. We love y'all, and we want to see everybody safe.
All right,
Amen.
brother. Well said. Well said.
Right, so for Adam P. from 49ers Insiders, go ahead and follow him on Twitter at 49ers Insiders. You can follow me, Niner Faithful Radio on Facebook and Instagram at Niner Faithful Radio. You can also follow us on Twitter at Niner Faithful R. For Adam, Kim, and Jamie and myself, we thank you for listening to this week's episode. We shall see y'all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.
All right, brother.
See you next
Till next
bro.
time. Thank you, everybody.
Yep. End broadcast.